The stars looked peaceful from the bridge of the Dominion warship Inevitable. Admiral Vex stood with his forearms clasped behind his back, his gray skin reflecting the blue glow of nearby screens. His species had evolved to process information quickly, and right now, all the information pleased him. The settlement on Proxima 9 has surrendered, Admiral, reported Commander Drill. No resistance this time. Vex nodded. How many ships did we lose? None, Admiral, not even damage to report. This was how it always went. For 200 years, the Dominion had expanded across the stars, taking planet after planet. Their method never changed because it never needed to: arrive with overwhelming force, demonstrate superiority, accept surrender. Those who resisted were crushed quickly to serve as examples. Prepare the integration teams, Vex ordered. I want the population processed and working in our factories within 30 days. Yes, Admiral. On a screen before him, Vex studied the map of conquered territory. The Dominion controlled over 300 star systems now. Their technology advanced with each new species they absorbed. Their ships grew more powerful, their armies multiplied. And yet Vex felt restless. What is our next target? He asked. Commander Drill touched a control panel and the map shifted to show a small cluster of stars at the edge of Dominion space. We have reports of a developing civilization here, Drill said. They call themselves humans. They've colonized 12 planets in this region. Their technology is moderate, not primitive, but nothing special. Vex studied the information. Interesting, their main world, a planet they call Earth. It's protected by a defense fleet, but nothing our forces can't handle. Vex thought for a moment. Send scout ships first. I want to understand their capabilities before we commit the main fleet. Is that necessary, Admiral, our standard approach? Do as I say, Vex interrupted. Something about these humans made him cautious. He couldn't explain why. Perhaps it was just boredom after so many easy victories. 3 light-years away, Captain Jack Miller of the United Earthship Defender stared at his own set of screens. Unlike the massive Dominion vessels, the Defender was small and fast. Built for exploration and quick response, it carried a crew of only 50. Captain, we're picking up unusual readings from the Proxima sector, reported Lieutenant Anna Jones, the ship's sensor officer. Her fingers moved quickly over her console as she analyzed the data. Define unusual, Miller said, walking to her station. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database, Jones explained. Massive power outputs, and they're moving information toward the settlement on Proxima 9. Miller frowned. Earth Command had been receiving strange reports from outlying colonies for months. Rumors of an unstoppable alien force moving through the stars, conquering everything in its path. Most officials dismissed these as exaggerations or misunderstandings. How far are we from Proxima 9? Miller asked. At maximum speed, 3 days, replied the navigator, Lieutenant Mark Chen. Miller tapped his fingers on the back of Jones's chair, thinking. They were on a routine patrol mission, not authorized for first contact or combat operations. The proper procedure would be to report the readings to Earth Command and wait for instructions. But in 3 days, whatever was happening at Proxima 9 would be over. Set course for Proxima 9 maximum speed, Miller ordered. Chen turned in his chair. Sir, protocol states. I know the protocol, Lieutenant, Miller interrupted. But if those reports are true, the people on Proxima 9 might need immediate help. We can at least get eyes on the situation. Yes, sir, Chen replied, turning back to his console. Miller returned to his command chair and opened a channel to the engine room. Chief Reed, I need everything you can give me. Chief Engineer Tom Reed's voice came through the speaker. The new drive system isn't fully tested, Captain. I can give you maybe 110% for short bursts, but I can't guarantee how it'll hold up over 3 days. Do your best, Chief. This might be important. Understood, Captain. Reed out. Miller leaned back in his chair. The Defender was one of the first ships equipped with the experimental Ghost Drive, a system that could briefly shift the ship partially out of normal space, allowing it to pass through solid matter. The technology was revolutionary but unreliable. During testing, the drive had worked perfectly 9 times out of 10. That 10th time, it had nearly torn the ship apart. But if the rumors were true, they might need every advantage they could get. The Dominion scout ships reached Proxima 9 before the Defender arrived. They observed the human settlement from orbit, a colony of about 20,000 people. The scouts analyzed Earth's communication networks, defense systems, and technology level. These humans are divided, reported the scout leader to Admiral Vex. They have multiple governments on their home world and their colonies operate with significant independence. Vex processed this information. Division makes them weak. What about their military capability? Limited, their ships are small and few. Their weapons are basic energy and projectile technology, nothing that can threaten our forces. Vex nodded. Begin standard invasion protocol. Take Proxima 9 first, then move inward toward their core systems. Yes, Admiral. When the Defender arrived at Proxima 9, the invasion was already underway. The colony's small defense fleet had been destroyed. Dominion ships filled the sky, massive and imposing against the blue-green planet below. "Dear God," whispered Lieutenant Jones as the sensor readings came in. "There are 15 ships down there, Captain, each one at least 5 times our size." Miller stared at the tactical display. The Defender had maintained its distance, using the planet's moon for cover. So far, they hadn't been detected. "What about the colony?" he asked. "I'm picking up weapons fire on the surface," Jones replied. "The colony's defensive shields are failing. They won't last another hour." Miller faced an impossible choice. The Defender was outmatched in every way. Standard procedure would be to retreat, return to Earth with the intelligence, and allow command to prepare a proper response. But by then, everyone on Proxima 9 would be dead or captured. Chief Reed's voice came over the comm. "Captain, I've been looking at those alien ships. They're big and powerful, but their design is repetitive, like they're all built from the same template." "What are you suggesting, Chief?" "Their sensor grid has a pattern to it. If we time it right, we might be able to use the ghost drive to slip between their scanning cycles. Get in close before they know we're there." Miller considered this. It was a desperate plan, but sometimes desperate was all you had. "These humans are divided," reported the scout leader to Admiral Vex. "They have multiple governments on their home world and their colonies operate with significant independence." Vex processed this information. Division makes them weak. What about their military capability? Limited, their ships are small and few. Their weapons are basic energy and projectile technology, nothing that can threaten our forces. Vex nodded. Begin standard invasion protocol. Take Proxima 9 first, then move inward toward their core systems. Yes, Admiral. When the Defender arrived at Proxima 9, the invasion was already underway. The colony's small defense fleet had been destroyed. Dominion ships filled the sky, massive and imposing against the blue-green planet below. "Dear God," whispered Lieutenant Jones as the sensor readings came in. "There are 15 ships down there, Captain, each one at least 5 times our size." Miller stared at the tactical display. The Defender had maintained its distance, using the planet's moon for cover. So far, they hadn't been detected. "What about the colony?" he asked. "I'm picking up weapons fire on the surface," Jones replied. "The colony's defensive shields are failing. They won't last another hour." Miller faced an impossible choice. The Defender was outmatched in every way. Standard procedure would be to retreat, return to Earth with the intelligence, and allow command to prepare a proper response. But by then, everyone on Proxima 9 would be dead or captured. Chief Reed's voice came over the comm. "Captain, I've been looking at those alien ships. They're big and powerful, but their design is repetitive, like they're all built from the same template." "What are you suggesting, Chief?" "Their sensor grid has a pattern to it. If we time it right, we might be able to use the ghost drive to slip between their scanning cycles. Get in close before they know we're there." Miller considered this. It was a desperate plan, but sometimes desperate was all you had. "Lieutenant Chen, plot an approach vector that keeps us in the shadow of their largest vessel," Miller ordered. "Chief Reed, prepare the ghost drive. Lieutenant Jones, arm all weapons." "Sir," Jones looked uncertain. "We can't possibly win against that many ships." Miller met her gaze steadily. "We're not trying to win, Lieutenant. We're trying to buy time for the colonists to evacuate. Sometimes the impossible fight is the only one worth having." As the Defender moved from behind the moon, Miller sent a tight beam message to the colony below. "Proxima 9, this is Captain Jack Miller of the UES Defender. Begin emergency evacuation procedures. We'll provide what cover we can." Then he turned to his crew, determination in his eyes. "Let's show these aliens that humans don't surrender easily." The Defender accelerated toward the Dominion fleet, small but defiant against the vast darkness of space. about to become the thorn that would change the fate of humanity forever. The Dominion fleet hung in orbit around Proxima 9 like massive predators. On the bridge of the lead ship, a junior officer approached Commander Drill with confusion clear on his face. "Commander, we've detected a small vessel approaching from behind the moon." Drill barely looked up from his station. "Another human ship, destroy it." "It's not following any predictable course, sir, and our weapon systems are having trouble locking onto it." Now Drill's attention was caught. In 200 years of conquest, no species had presented any real challenge. Combat was typically brief and one-sided. "Show me," he ordered. The tactical display revealed a small ship moving in strange patterns toward the Dominion fleet. It seemed to flicker in and out of sensor range, appearing where it shouldn't be possible. Drill's eyes narrowed, alert Admiral Vex. On the UES Defender, Captain Miller gripped his command chair as the ship phased in and out of normal space. "Ghost drive functioning at 85% capacity," Chief Reed reported from engineering, his voice strained. "We can't keep this up for long, Captain." "Just get us close enough for a clean shot," Miller replied. The Defender slipped between two massive Dominion vessels, appearing to pass partially through one of them. The alien ships began firing, but their weapons struck empty space where the Defender had been moments before. "They can't track us properly," Lieutenant Jones said, excitement in her voice. "The Ghost drive is working." Miller nodded. "What's the status of the colony?" "Evacuation pods are launching, but the Dominion ships are targeting them," Chen reported. "Then let's give them something else to worry about," Miller said. "Target their nearest ship's weapon systems and fire." The Defender materialized fully just long enough to fire a volley of energy torpedoes at the nearest Dominion vessel. The torpedoes struck with precision, creating explosions along the larger ship's hull. "Direct hits," Jones called out. Miller allowed himself a small smile. How do they like that punch? On the bridge of the Inevitable, Admiral Vex watched the unexpected attack with growing concern. "What is happening?" he demanded. "A single human ship is attacking our fleet," Commander Drill explained, disbelief in his voice. "It's using some kind of technology that allows it to partially phase out of normal space." Vex had never seen anything like it. The Dominion's conquest had always followed the same pattern: overwhelming force met with fear, then surrender. No species had ever presented a technological surprise. "Destroy that ship," Vex ordered coldly. "We're trying, Admiral. Our targeting systems can't lock onto it when it phases." Vex's skin darkened with anger. "Then fire in patterns. It has to become solid to attack." Back on the Defender, the situation was becoming desperate. "Ghost drive at 60% and falling," Reed warned. "We've got maybe 10 more minutes before it fails completely." Miller knew they couldn't defeat the entire Dominion fleet. That wasn't the plan. They just needed to create enough chaos to let the colonists escape. "Status of the evacuation?" he asked. 30% complete, Chen replied. "They need more time." The ship rocked as a Dominion energy beam grazed their hull. "They're starting to predict our movements," Jones warned, "adapting their firing patterns." Miller thought quickly. "Chief Reed, can we use the Ghost drive differently? Instead of phasing the whole ship, could we phase just parts of it, make them think we're somewhere we're not?" There was a pause before Reed responded. "It's not designed for that, but I might be able to modify it. Give me 2 minutes." "You've got one," Miller replied as another blast rocked the ship. Vex watched with growing frustration as the human ship continued to evade destruction. Smaller Dominion vessels were now moving to intercept the evacuation pods leaving the planet's surface. Admiral Commander Drill reported, "The human ship has stopped phasing. We have a lock." Vex's 4 eyes fixed on the tactical display. "Fire everything." Multiple Dominion ships fired at once, their energy weapons converging on the point where the Defender appeared to be. The space lit up with destructive energy. "Direct hit," Drill announced. Vex felt satisfaction return. No species could stand against the Dominion. This brief resistance was merely. "Admiral, the human ship is attacking from our flank." Vex turned to see the supposedly destroyed vessel firing on one of his ships from an entirely different position. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "It worked," Reed shouted over the comm. The modified ghost drive created a perfect holographic projection while phasing us to a new position. Miller nodded in approval. Good work, Chief. Now let's make the most of their confusion. The Defender fired again, targeting the engines of one of the Dominion ships pursuing the evacuation pods. The ship veered off course, its propulsion systems damaged. Evacuation now at 50%, Chen reported. We need to keep this up a little longer. Miller said, Lieutenant Jones, find me their command ship. Jones studied her sensor readings. The largest vessel at the center of their formation, sir, but it's heavily shielded. Can we get a message through those shields? Jones looked surprised. A message, sir? Yes, I want to talk to whoever's in charge. Admiral Vex was still trying to understand how one small ship was creating such chaos when Commander Drill approached. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel. They want to speak with our commander. Vex considered ignoring it. The Dominion did not negotiate with inferior species, but curiosity won out. Put it through. A human face appeared on the screen. The creature had only 2 eyes and pale skin, primitive-looking compared to Vex's species. I am Captain Jack Miller of the United Earthship Defender, the human said. You're attacking a peaceful colony without provocation. We demand you withdraw immediately. Vex almost laughed. You are in no position to make demands. I am Admiral Vex of the Dominion, and your world will be the next to join our empire. The human's expression didn't change. We would rather die free than live under your rule, and as you've seen today, we're capable of more than you expected. One ship cannot stand against our fleet, Vex replied. This is just the beginning, Miller said. Earth has thousands of ships, and now that we know you're coming, we'll be ready. It was a bluff. Earth had nowhere near that number of vessels, but Miller delivered it with absolute conviction. You have 2 choices, Miller continued. Leave now or face destruction. Vex's 4 eyes blinked in surprise at the human's boldness. Before he could respond, the transmission cut off. Ghost drive at 40%, Captain, Reed reported. We need to leave soon. Miller nodded. Evacuation status. 70% complete, Chen said. Most of the remaining pods are launching now. Good, and prepare to. The ship rocked violently as a direct hit struck their hull. Shields down to 30%, Jones called out. They've adapted to our movement patterns. Miller made his decision. Set course for the jump point. We've done what we came to do. The Defender fired one last volley at the Dominion fleet, then accelerated away from the planet, phasing in and out of normal space to avoid the worst of the enemy fire. Vex watched the human ship retreat, his anger building. For the first time in his long career, a battle had not gone according to plan. The humans had not surrendered. Their ship had damaged several Dominion vessels and allowed many colonists to escape. Should we pursue, Admiral? Drill asked. Vex considered this. The human ship was small, but its technology was unexpected. This ghost drive was something the Dominion had never encountered. No, Vex decided. Return to the fleet. We must analyze what happened here and prepare a new strategy. He turned to stare at the tactical display, where the small human ship was disappearing from sensor range. This Captain Miller and his ship have merely delayed the inevitable, Vex said. But they will learn that no one defies the Dominion and survives. As the Defender jumped into faster-than-light travel, neither side realized that this small battle was the beginning of a conflict that would change the galaxy forever. 1 month after the battle at Proxima 9, Admiral Vex stood before the Dominion High Command. 6 senior leaders of different conquered species sat around a large table, their diverse forms united by the gray skin tone that marked all who had been fully integrated into the Dominion. This human ship continues to be a problem, Vex explained, displaying images of the UES Defender. In the past 4 weeks, it has attacked 3 of our supply convoys and destroyed a communication relay. High Commander Krell, the oldest member of the Council, leaned forward. One ship is causing all this trouble. Surely our fleet can handle it. It's not that simple, Vex replied. The humans' ghost drive technology allows them to appear and disappear without warning. They strike quickly and retreat before we can respond. Then adapt our tactics, Krell said dismissively. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. We will not be stopped by one ship. Vex nodded stiffly. I have already diverted 20 warships to hunt down the Defender. We will find it and we will destroy it. See that you do, Krell replied. Our invasion of human space should not be delayed by such a minor obstacle. Vex left the meeting with anger burning inside him. To the High Command, this was a small problem. To Vex, it had become personal. No one had ever embarrassed him before. The human Captain Miller would pay for that. The UES Defender drifted in the shadow of a large asteroid, its systems running on minimal power to avoid detection. Inside the ship, the mood was tense but determined. Captain Miller studied the star chart in his ready room with Lieutenant Chen. The Dominion's expansion has slowed, Chen pointed out. They've diverted ships to search for us instead of pushing deeper into our territory. Miller nodded. That gives Earth more time to prepare. The Ghost drive specs have been sent to all major shipyards. They're refitting as many vessels as possible. The door opened and Chief Reed entered with Lieutenant Jones. How's our girl holding up? Miller asked. Reed sighed. I've patched the Ghost drive as best I can, but it wasn't designed for this much use. We're operating at 75% efficiency at best. It'll have to do, Miller replied. What about the data you've been collecting? Lieutenant Jones placed a tablet on the table. I've been analyzing Dominion communication patterns. They're incredibly structured, almost like a machine language. I think I can predict their fleet movements based on their transmission patterns. Miller smiled. That's exactly what we need, if we can stay one step ahead of them. The ship's alarm suddenly blared. Miller tapped his communication badge. Bridge report. Captain, we've detected multiple Dominion ships entering the system, the duty officer reported. They're deploying in a search pattern. I think they know we're here. Miller looked at his officers. How did they find us? They must have improved their sensors, Reed suggested. Or they got lucky, Chen added. It didn't matter now. Battle stations, Miller ordered. Prepare the Ghost drive, we're getting out of here. Aboard his flagship, Admiral Vex watched with satisfaction as his ship surrounded the asteroid field. The human ship is hiding in there, he told Commander Drill. Our new quantum detection grid can sense the Ghost drive's energy signature even when it's not active. Drill nodded. They don't know we can track them now. Deploy the net, Vex ordered. No escape this time. 20 Dominion warships moved into position, creating a sphere around the asteroid field. They began firing specialized energy pulses that would force any ship using the Ghost drive to become fully solid. On the Defender, systems started failing as the ship was hit by the strange energy field. What's happening? Miller demanded. Reed checked his readings with growing concern. They're using some kind of dampening field. It's affecting the Ghost drive. Can we jump out? Miller asked. Not while that field is active, Reed replied. We'd be torn apart if we tried to phase now. Miller thought quickly. If we can't use the Ghost drive to escape, we'll use conventional tactics. Prepare all weapons, target the nearest Dominion ship, and give them everything we've got. Defender emerged from behind the asteroid, engines flaring to life. The small ship accelerated directly toward the nearest Dominion vessel, firing continuously. Vex watched with surprise as the human ship charged directly at his forces. They're being reckless, Drill commented. No, Vex replied. They're being human. This Captain Miller would rather fight than surrender. The Defender's weapons struck the targeted Dominion ship with surprising force, causing damage to its forward section. They've modified their weapons, Vex noted with grudging respect. Return fire, disable that ship if possible. I want Captain Miller alive. The Defender shuddered as enemy fire struck its hull. Shields down to 40%, Jones reported. We can't take much more of this. Miller studied the tactical display. They were surrounded, outgunned, and unable to use their greatest advantage. It seemed hopeless. Then he noticed something. The dampening field isn't uniform, he said, pointing to the display. There's a weak point between those two Dominion ships. Reed analyzed the readings. You're right, the field strength is 30% lower there, but it's still too strong for a clean phase-out. What if we don't need a clean phase? Miller asked. What if we just need enough to slip through? Reed looked uncertain. It would be incredibly risky. The ship could be torn apart. We're out of better options, Miller said. Set course for that gap and prepare to engage the Ghost drive at my command. The Defender changed direction, heading for the small opening in the Dominion formation. They're trying to escape through the gap, Drill reported to Vex. Close it, Vex ordered, move ships to intercept. Two Dominion vessels began adjusting their position to strengthen the field between them. They've spotted us, Chen warned, they're closing the gap. Increase speed, Miller ordered. We'll have to punch through before they can reinforce. The Defender accelerated to maximum speed, racing toward the narrowing opening in the enemy formation. Ghost drive ready, Reed reported. But Captain, I have to warn you, this could destroy the ship. Noted, Miller replied, on my mark, now. The Ghost drive engaged, and the Defender began to phase out of normal space. The dampening field fought against the transition, creating visible energy distortions around the ship. The hull groaned under the strain as the Defender squeezed through the gap in the Dominion formation. Hull integrity failing, Jones shouted over the noise. Drive stability at critical levels. Miller gripped his chair, hold together just a little longer. With a final surge of power, the Defender broke through the Dominion net, phasing back into normal space beyond their formation. The ship's systems sparked and failed across multiple sections. We made it, Miller said, hardly believing it himself. Damage reports, he ordered. Ghost drive severely damaged, Reed reported. Life support systems at 60%, weapons offline, but we're still in one piece. Set course for the nearest friendly outpost, Miller ordered. Maximum speed on conventional drives. The damaged Defender limped away from the battlefield, leaving the Dominion fleet behind once again. Admiral Vex watched the human ship escape with cold fury in his eyes. They damaged the field generator and escaped, Drill reported unnecessarily. I can see that, Vex replied, but they did not escape undamaged. The Ghost drive was severely strained, they will need to repair it. We'll continue the hunt, Drill suggested. No, Vex decided, they're too good at evading direct pursuit. Instead, we will predict where they must go. He turned to his tactical officer. Identify all possible locations where they could repair their special drive technology. Place our forces there. Vex stared at the fatting signal of the Defender on his screen. This game of chase is nearly over, Captain Miller. Soon you will have nowhere left to run. As the Dominion fleet regrouped, neither side realized that their private war was inspiring other species to question Dominion rule. Across occupied worlds, stories spread about the human ship that defied the unstoppable conquerors. The Defender was becoming more than a thorn in the Dominion's side. It was becoming a symbol of hope. The trading outpost of Haven was built inside a hollowed-out asteroid at the edge of known space. It existed in a gray area between major territories where different species could meet and trade without political complications. It was also one of the few places the damaged UES Defender might find the parts needed to repair its Ghost drive. Captain Miller stood at the airlock as Haven's docking clamps secured around his ship. Next to him, Chief Reed looked worried. I don't like this, Captain, Reed said quietly. This place isn't officially aligned with Earth. We could be walking into a trap. We don't have many options, Miller replied. The Ghost drive needs specialized components we can't fabricate on board, and Haven has a reputation for discretion. For the right price, Reed added. Miller nodded. Lieutenant Jones will stay aboard with half the crew. If anything goes wrong, they'll take the ship and run, damaged drive or not. The airlock door cycled open, revealing a busy trading hub filled with beings of various species. Most Miller had never seen before. The space was filled with small shops, repair bays, and shadowy corners where private deals took place. Keep your eyes open, Miller told Reed and Chen as they stepped through. We're looking for parts, not trouble. The trio moved through the crowded marketplace, drawing curious glances. Humans were rare in this part of space, especially now that the Dominion was targeting their colonies. They approached a large repair bay where a blue-skinned, four-armed alien was working on a small spacecraft. Excuse me, Miller said, we need help with some repairs. The alien looked up, wiping grease from two of his hands. What kind of repairs? Phase shift technology, Miller replied carefully. Our drive system is damaged. The alien's large eyes widened slightly. Phase shift, very advanced, very expensive. He lowered his voice. And very interesting to some people these days, people asking questions about ships with such technology. Miller kept his expression neutral. We can pay well. I'm sure you can, the alien said. But some things are worth more than money, like information about a human ship that has been causing trouble for the Dominion. Miller's hand moved closer to his concealed weapon. We're just traders looking for repairs. The alien laughed. No one believes that, Captain Miller. Chen and Reed tensed, ready for trouble, but the alien held up his hands in a peaceful gesture. My name is Koro, he said, and I have no love for the Dominion. They conquered my home world 15 years ago, but we should not talk here. He gestured toward a door at the back of his shop. Too many ears listening. In a small back room, Koro served them drinks in mismatched cups. Word of your ship has spread, he explained.